Alright. It's been a minute. Life has been happening, right? So let's get caught up on what exactly has been happening for my little Tauruses. Thank you for being patient with your boy. I knew I was gonna end up getting back around to your videos eventually. So, here we go. Little bowls. Merkaba. Movement, long distance travel, and excitement. Well, shit, let's talk about it. You know what? I want to use my Wonderland deck. I always want to use this one. This one calls to me so fucking much. This little dinty tin. Alright, Merkaba. Merkaba. That's like Cancer energy. Chariot energy. Number 33 on this card. I don't know if that has any relevance to you, but that's what I'm seeing. And I'm also seeing a 6-pointed star. Knight of Cups in reverse. In your recent past, you may have had like a change of heart towards somebody. You felt like you had to emotionally let go of somebody. Yeah. With the Four of Cups, I see this energy of like rejecting or rejection. Maybe you faced rejection or somebody like kind of, you know, making you feel like not about this connection. With the Five of Cups in reverse, I see this energy of like, yeah, you were disappointed, but you're still pretty optimistic. You know, you're still focused on what you do have and what is important. You know, it's not like you lost a sense of yourself through this. With the Four of Swords in reverse, you might have a little overthinking. You know, you might go back and forth in your head, but ultimately, there's this energy of you being true to yourself at the same time. Ace of Swords. I see you like taking action towards a new life or a new beginning here. Really stepping into your power, stepping up your game. So let's see what this Ace of Swords represents for you. This could also mean with the Four of Swords in reverse, like it's not a time of, you know, rest and relaxation and indulgence. Right now is a time of action and work and efforts, right? So let's see. Ace of Swords. Swords. Why don't we pronounce the W in sword? Sword. Sounds more real. Sounds like a sword. Sorry. So, Six of Wands, you might start, you know, getting some recognition. You might start noticing people giving you a lot more compliments or having, like, better energy towards you. This is, like, really feeling like you're getting, you know, noticed or recognition, you know, for, like, your efforts and your hard work. Six of Cups in reverse, I see this energy of literally refusing to entertain, like nostalgia, right? It's like you know, the second you start, you know, really catching yourself thinking about the past or thinking about what you've had to let go of, it's like you immediately seek to distract yourself in some way because you don't want to sit there and focus on it. You don't want to keep that energetic cord open between you and the past here. Temperance, Sagittarius energy. Temperance is all about like being patient, right? This is all about, also if you notice, he's dipping his toes in water here. And water represents emotions, right, in tarot. So you may be like dipping your toes in your emotions a bit and really, you know, doing like checking on how you feel and what's best for you and like what, you know, like really You know, Temperance is the earth angel energy, the you know, kind of being rescued right at the last minute kind of energy. This card talks about divine timing a lot and being calm under pressure, you know, and not reacting, not not reacting out of your ego, you know. That's like I would never tell you to get rid of your ego, but don't react out of your ego. Don't let your ego run you, right? It's like letting your 2-year-old run the show. Fuck no, little baby. You're gonna be nice. You're not gonna bite the neighbor's kids. Okay? Like, you know, it's kind of like that. You gotta do that with your ego a little bit. You gotta kind of keep it in line. Like, if you've ever trained a dog, same shit. Dog. Right? You gotta train that shit. And that's, you know, it's hard as fuck to do, but it's like, you know, you notice when you start feeling that cortisol raising up in your chest and you're feeling puffed up and you want to react and you're like, I'm gonna go whoop some ass name. I'm just gonna speak my mind and fuck anyone who cares and da da da. You know, it's not about if people care. It's not about what you have to say. It's not about all of that. It's about the energy you're bringing to people, right? I've been able to have some of the best disagreements of my life with people that really helped me grow and progress. But these disagreements didn't come in an energy of like, oh, you're stupid because you think different, or you're da da da. Cause, you know, it's not that. You know, it's not this like, no, I'm superior and da da da. And I feel like this could be something that like you want to make sure that you're not getting like an accidental superiority complex. You know, it's kind of like, you know, like if somebody pisses you off, who the fuck cares? Everyone gets pissed off all the time, right? It's like Marcus Aurelius once said. He's like, you're gonna meet every day. Wake up and tell yourself you're gonna see people who are vile, people who are jealous, people who are greedy, people who are fucking ruthless and mean, and people who cheat, and people who abuse, and you're gonna see all the worst, right? You're also gonna see all the best, right? But your negative bias in your brain will only let you focus on the worst. And that's for everyone, right? Every human has a negative bias, which fucking sucks. You have to untrain that. You have to remove the negative bias. Because when somebody disagrees with you, if rather than being like, oh, well, you're dumb and da-da-da-da-da, you look at them and you're like, well, why do you feel that way? You know, what led to this mindset or this thought process? You know, this also teaches you about being able to communicate with people assertively and honestly, you know, and rather than, because the second you call somebody a name, the second you start raising your voice, that's when you've lost, right? If you can stay completely calm, you know, you state your point, you let them state theirs, you don't you don't talk over them while they're trying to state their points, you know, that's like, you'll get a lot further and your own perspectives will grow, right? If you receive new information, like a lesson, rather than, you know, a means to like belittle somebody else or, you know, or react or get triggered, right? If somebody triggers you, that only shows your own personal weakness, right? If you're not personally weak, then they can't control your emotions like that. They can't be the master of your thoughts and your reactions and your, you know, whatever. Your emotions don't run the show. You fucking do, you know? Yeah. See, I'm seeing 9 of Swords and 9 of Wands. 9 of Swords. 9 of Wands. 9 of Wands is the wounded warrior coming home from war, right? And realizing that everything's fucking different and feeling like they still have to guard and protect themselves. The 9 of Swords is being very guarded, right? These flamingos represent swords. These flamingos represent things that can protect them, right? It's almost like feeling like protected by their shadow a little bit here. It's almost like misery is the comfort zone, right? And if misery is the comfort zone, then happiness would make you absolutely sick. And this is kind of the energy that, like, I think you're trying to work through right now with this Temperance card. It's like this is the mindsets or the old ways that you're really trying to overcome, because you don't want to feel so comfortable in misery or in depression or in like that lack mentality. Because it happens, right? It happens. We have the Fool card in reverse with the Two of Wands in reverse, and this is the energy of like, you've made a decision here to not make foolish decisions, right? To not be so impulsive, to not just leap off of the edge without thinking. And it's, really going back to that Temperance and the, Ace of Swords. It's like being more thoughtful about the actions that you take. It's about being more pensive about, like how this will affect you after the fact, right? Like really looking at the bigger picture, really looking in retrospect here. We have the Lovers here, right? Divine counterparts. Now let me tell you a little bit about the Lovers card. The Lovers card is Gemini energy. As you see, we have the twins in the Lovers. This is a major arcana card, right? Whereas like Two of Wands in reverse is minor arcana, right? This is not in a suit. It's its own thing, so it's major arcana. Major arcana talks about life-altering connections or events or things, right? Things that really shake shit up and completely alter the direction you were going, right? So when I think of things like the Fool in reverse, this is a big life decision to not be so impulsive or to not make certain decisions that were once, pretty detrimental probably. And the Temperance, right? Really seeking that sense of patience and that even temperament and, things like that. Really allowing divine timing to happen and really being able to dip your toes in your emotions without getting lost in them, that's life altering. This is something that's evolving you on a soul level, right? This is something it's not just like a little decision here, a little side quest there. It's like, no, these are big events for you, right? So with the Lovers, this connection is a big event, right? And it's represented by the twins and it's major arcana. I see this as the twin flame card, right? The thing about twin flames is your twin flame doesn't necessarily have to be your lover, right? Your twin flame could be a sibling. It could be all kinds of things. More likely than not, is it going to be like somebody you have a love interest in? Yeah, because they have to be able to affect you emotionally in certain ways, right? That like you may not get the same effect with. I mean, you can. It's harder to get the same kind of twin flame journey if there's not kind of that romantic connection, because it teaches you a lesson in attachment. You own nobody. Nobody owes you anything, right? You're not entitled to anybody. What people give to you of themselves is on their own accord and should be honored, right? So this is something that the twin flame teaches you. That like it's not about ownership. It's about appreciation. It's about just adoring somebody and loving them in their energy and trusting them to be good and decent people of honor, people of integrity, because these are the people that you choose. And if you can't trust them, you're basically saying you don't trust your own judgment, and then that's something you'll need to have an assessment of self over, right? So, before I go on another rant, let's talk about the Lovers. There's a lot of cards here. Right off the bat, I really like this. We have Seven of Swords in reverse with the Five of Wands in reverse, right? I feel like I'm basically reiterating some of what I just said. Five of Wands in reverse tells me that this is not somebody that you feel like you have to compete over in like a primal ego way, right? This is also somebody like that's not going to give you like there's not a lot of conflict in this connection. I feel like there's too much understanding for conflict, right? Conflict happens when there's zero understanding, but what I'm seeing here is like the lack of conflict. Right? This means that there's going to be great communication. And I say that because Queen of Wands also showed up, right? Wands represents honest communication, and I see that you're going to be getting that with this person. Queen of Wands is also the most envied in all the deck, right? She's warm, compassionate, inviting, inspiring. She's an artist. She embodies that divine feminine energy, right? Just a creator. With the Seven of Swords in reverse. I love this. I love this because Seven of Swords in the upright represents lying, cheating, stealing, dishonesty, just an overall bad person or bad energy. But with the Seven of Swords in reverse, it's kind of like saying, like, you're not going to find that here, right? With the Queen of Wands, that's an honest communicator. This is somebody who's, like, loyal to a fault. Somebody who, like, whose love and compassion extends so far beyond themselves that, like, to live in dishonor is worse than death, And that's kind of the energy I'm seeing here is like somebody of great integrity. We have Three of Cups in reverse. Three of Cups is like the card of like drinking or celebrating with friends. You see they're all sitting there with their hats or their cups, and they're all they're cheersing, they're hooting, hollering, they're having a great time. With that in reverse, it's kind of like saying the party's over, or like if there was like a phase of like debauchery, like when we are in our single lives. So we sometimes we'll be out partying and doing those things, but it's kind of this energy of like wanting to like settle down and not be so like in the world in that way, right? Or whatever the case. Seven of Pentacles in reverse tells me like the wait of harvest is over, right? So Seven of Pentacles represents like waiting on your harvest, right? It's like saying like, you put so much good in the world. You've chosen to live in like a very honest life, a very straightforward life. It kind of reminds me of that song, that Simple Man, be something you love and understand, like it's, kind of this energy of like you've embodied exactly the kind of person and energy that you would like to receive, and so it's kind of this energy of like now that you've given so much in life, it's time to be in receiving mode, right? It's time to receive a bit. With the Magician showing up, this tells me that this is going to be rather easy for you, right? The Magician could represent a few things, but with the Seven of Swords in reverse, it kind of takes away the negative meaning of this card. And if we're thinking in terms of like, how your major arcanas are primarily in the upright, except for the Fool card, which tells me that you're not a fool, right? You're not doing anything dumb or whatever. And so, with that all in mind, the Magician is somebody who's very resourceful, right? The Magician is somebody who can pull a rabbit out of a hat, right? This is somebody who has all that they need to accomplish what they're striving to accomplish, right? And I feel like whatever you're manifesting at this time, and you are manifesting something here, right? The Magician is a manifester. Whatever you're manifesting here, I feel like it's going to happen pretty quickly for you, especially with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. It's like you've waited long enough. you've invested enough work and effort, and it's kind of like seeing like it pay off. With the Nine of Pentacles here, this is a card of being self-made, which means you may not have come from generational wealth, or if you did, you still made a decision to build yourself up on your own, right? Especially with the Judgment card, right? It was very important to you to have this independence, to not have to rely on other people for certain things. And it shows that you've accomplished a lot for yourself, right? You've come a long way, and it's kind of like saying, and you did it a lot on your own, right? Or like with the support of friends, but not in the sense of like needing them, just because they helped out of the goodness of their hearts usually, right? And it's there's something very admirable about that, like being somebody who chooses kind of a harder path, but a more beneficial path. You know, it's not the path of least resistance, but it is the path of the most karmic payout, you know, like in a good way. Like the karma you're getting for the life that you've lived it looks pretty good, especially with the Judgment and the upright, right? It's like saying like on a spiritual level, right? Like on a spiritual level, like you've passed judgment, you passed energetic tests, right? There are energetic tests. There are the things that will always, you know, if you're vibrating super high, there will be always the things that test you to see if it can bring you down a few notches, right? And if you're vibrating really low, then, you know, there's that other test where it tests you to see if it can bring you back up, right? There's tests in whatever direction you choose, in whatever direction you take. If you choose to fall in love, guess what? There's going to be a lot of temptation, right? In regards to, like, people wanting to date you or whatever. And it makes you be more solid in, like, who you've chosen or why you've chosen them, or, like, if that's the direction you want. And, you know, same with, like, fuck everything. You know, it's like, you go on a diet, right? And it's like, all of a sudden you see, like, the best looking blueberry muffin of your life, and you're like, and that's like a test. Like, do you really want what you've been pursuing, or are you just, you know, these tests, the energetic tests, they help you to see like what your real internal desire is, right? If you really internally desire better or healthier or whatever, you will choose that. Despite the temptation, despite how hard it is. And those tests, those temptations really allow you to know how much you really want what you accomplish, you know, because you couldn't accomplish it if you didn't really fucking want it. Page of Swords in reverse. People might, like, I feel like if anybody, like, gets, like, you know what, let me clarify this real fast. Yeah. Page of Swords in reverse. This is letting go of people who are, like, a bad energy in your life, or they, like people who like drama, people who, you know, put you in a bad headspace, or, you know, this is typically platonic connections, but it's like saying like the ones that are unhealthy. I see this energy of letting go. Now with the Ten of Wands in reverse, it's this energy of like at the end of this cycle, it's time to release the emotional and mental burden you've acquired over time. You know, it's kind of like saying, you know, it's you're being very decisive about who you entertain in your life, about who you allow in your life. It's pretty fucking mature. with the Strength card in reverse and the Queen of Cups in reverse, I see that perhaps the greatest emotional burden to let go of here is a personal weakness, right? With the Strength in reverse and Queen of Cups is a Queen of Love. So it's like somebody who may have once loved you and you've had to let go of them, they had a change of heart, whatever. This is like a Ten of Wands, and it's like, in order to start this new cycle, that with this Queen of Wands, right, which is the opposite of the Queen of Cups in reverse, right, which allows me to know they're two different energies. It's, once you let go of that, then it's like, I see that the path, it's just unburdened, right? It just clears right up. Things just start falling into place. But it really requires you to, make a conscious decision to, no longer entertain them, to no longer allow them that kind of power over you, And you have 999 on the board, which is all about mastery and really gearing towards ending old cycles that hurt, especially the nines that you have here. You have 9 of Swords, 9 of Wands, and 9 of Pentacles. This is having to do a lot alone, right? 9 of Pentacles is alone energy, right? But it's self-made energy. It's somebody who's acquired a lot out of their solitude, right? But then with the 9 of Swords and 9 of Wands, it's like fighting these spiritual battles by yourself and fighting these feelings and these struggles by yourself, and not really allowing it to really fucking destroy you. Especially with the 9 of Pentacles, you're like, it ain't destroying me. I'm just gonna bury myself in work, or I'm just gonna stay real fucking busy, and I'm gonna give myself a sense of purpose. If you've not emotionally confronted, your emotional losses, or people you've had to let go of, the first love, the hardest love, whatever, I think right now is a good time to do that. One thing that, for me, I'm a big cord cutter. I love cord cutting. If when it comes to the ending of things, the best thing to do is do a cord cutting ritual, I guess. I don't know. I don't wear a robe and make it all weird. I might light a candle and an incense. I'm not very showboaty because I feel like spirit hears me regardless of whatever the fuck I'm doing or wearing. Yeah, I get it. And I write down all of the best and worst things, right, of the situation I'm trying to cut ties with, right? If I'm trying to cut ties with a person, I talk about the things that I loved about them, my favorite memories with them, all that. I think about the worst times with them, the reasons why I'm choosing to cut these cords. You go in deep, right? Really assess the entire situation, write down all about it, right? Get it off your fucking chest. And then when you do that, you wrap it up in a cord, right? And I burn that. And you, with the cord, with what's left, you cut it. And then you take those two ends, right? Because I'm sure that once the paper burns, you'll have something over. Or simply get another cord, right? Representative. But you want to wrap that up and you want to burn that first and foremost. You want to bind, right? That's the thing. When you're wrapping this message, you're binding this message, right? You're binding the good times. You're binding the hard times. You're binding everything you want to let go of. You don't want any of it, right? You burn that. And in my case, I had cord left over. And so I was able to take what's left, cut it in half, and bury them separately, right? Scatter the ashes of the message, whatever you gotta do, Even, and, if you have to get another cord and cut it ceremonially, whatever, but there's something about this process. You know, it's not even specifically about how you do it or what you do. It's about your intention while you're doing it. That's where the magic comes from, right? You can do it however the fuck you want. Cord cutting does not matter what you say. It matters what you mean, you know? So if your intention is to sever it, do what feels right to you to sever that, you know? It's always been effective for me. And I've done it, you know, a few different fucking ways, you know? But that's the thing about magic, is there's no fucking rules. It's all about your intention. It's about the energy you're putting out, the energy you're taking in. You know, the thing about binding the good and the bad times and burning it up is like, it's like rebuking it, right? Rebuking the possession of the past, right? Because if you think about it, your past are your demons, right? That's the thing that we think about. The ruminating thoughts, the anxiety, this, right? The past is your demons. And when you bind them up and you cast them away, set them on fire, that's how you rebuke your demons, right? It's how you basically exorcise yourself of these demons that haunt you, right? And it's not like scary movie type of demons haunting you. These are very fucking real demons haunting you, right? And these demons are of your own creation, unfortunately. Sri Bala. Commit entirely and without hesitation to your most passionate inspirations. They are genius and wisdom in what you yearn to do. You have a greater capacity to attain fruition than those around you may recognize. Believe in yourself even if no one else does. It is not imagination that drives you toward your destiny, but the instinctive recognition of your true purpose. And that is what I have for you. I hope this was helpful. Namaste. I love you guys, and I'll catch you later.